formally with his new footwear.
Finally, a streetwise dog has won over millions of hearts online after a bus driver shared the moment he found the pup sitting on his bus in Santiago, Chile. Apparently, the dog hopped on the bus after a man, and the bus driver thought they were together. Well, 40 minutes later, at the bus's final stop, it turns out the dog was still enjoying the ride. And this commuting pup doesn't appear to be in any hurry to hit the streets. Who can blame him?
And that's this week's edition of Lola's Lowdown.
Dogs do not like those boots, but they might want them on this weekend. A little hot out there. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here Monday. News 3 at 5 starts right now.
And right now at 5, the jury has decided the fate of the Middleton man accused of killing his landlord. We'll have the verdict.
Plus, dozens of people are being laid off at a telecommunications services provider, WISC Corporation. We'll have the latest.
And Democratic candidates for governor share how they would tackle school safety and gun violence.
This is News 3 at 5.
First at 5 and breaking now, the jury has decided the fate of a Middleton man accused of murdering his landlord, and the jury has just returned with its verdict.
Prosecutors say John Hammond killed his landlord in 2017. Our Keely Arthur has the latest details on this case. Keely.
Well, after just a few hours of deliberating, the jury found John Hammond, known as Jack, guilty of first-degree intentional homicide. Police say Hammond killed 82-year-old Agnes Braun by hitting her in the head multiple times in April of 2017. Hammond had been renting a room from the woman for about 6 months prior to her death. Hammond's attorney maintained his client's innocence throughout this trial, but prosecutors say there was no question Hammond brutally took Braun's life.
You can tell from the circumstances of this death, the person who killed Agnes meant it. He meant for her to die. She was intentionally murdered.
The state's got every right to pursue whatever case they want. Detective Jones, Detective Zimmerman, and the rest of the Middleton Police Department are all good, well-intended people. But here they got it wrong.
Well, of course, the jury did not agree with the prosecutor's statement just there. Now, no weapon was ever discovered, but officers found what appeared to be blood stains on Hammond's coat and shoes. Hammond is 52 years old. His sentencing will happen in the next 2 months.
Keely Arthur live in the News Center with breaking news. Thank you.
A canine helped police find hidden drugs inside the vehicle of a man pulled over for driving with a suspended license yesterday. A Lafayette County deputy stopped Brooke Nolte on Highway 11 just east of the village of Benton. He was arrested on the Lafayette County warrant. During the stop, K9 Kilo signaled that drugs were in the vehicle. Deputies say during the search of the car, they found 42 grams of meth and another 33 grams of meth, along with packaging materials and other drug paraphernalia. Nolte is in jail facing multiple charges.
Well, let's get a look at your first alert weather. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti is in the Weather Center. A big heat up on the way.
I think so, Mark. Temperatures are going to be up around 90 for the weekend. Today, not too bad. We've had some clouds, at least at times, and that's held temperatures down a bit, but there is warmer and more humid air just out to the west of us. Low temperatures this morning started out around 60 degrees here in Madison. It was cooler to the north and west. Temperatures dropped into the middle 40s over much of west central Wisconsin, and there were areas of fog this morning. Current temperatures are in the upper 70s to the lower 80s. Notice it is warmer out to the west. Temperatures in the low to mid 80s over southwestern Wisconsin, and dew point temperatures that are in the lower 60s in Madison climb to the lower 70s on the other side of the Mississippi River. So it'll become increasingly humid. An alert day remains in place for tomorrow for high temperatures around 90. With the high humidity, heat index values will be between about 93 and 98 degrees. Look for temperatures to only drop into the middle to upper 60s by early tomorrow morning. Tomorrow will be partly sunny, breezy, hot and humid. High temperature of around 90. More of the same expected for Sunday. That's your first alert forecast.
All right, Gary, thank you. A major layoff announcement is causing some concern in the city of Middleton.
The telecommunications services provider WISC Corporation is laying off more than 100 employees in Middleton at the end of this month. Madeline O'Neill is here in the studio with more and to tell us where workers can turn. Maddie?
Susan and Mark, as of August 31st, 112 Middleton-based employees will be out of their current job. According to a notice the Nebraska-based company sent to the Wisconsin Department of Workforce Development, WESC Corporation is eliminating mostly sales associates after what they say was an unexpected and unforeseeable cancellation of a major client. City officials in Middleton say while it won't make a huge impact on the local economy, it's always tough when the community sees a loss of so many jobs from a major employer.
Every little part adds up, and it's not little to the folks who are going through loss of a job. And I think it's very tough for those families, and it ripples through the entire economy.
The Department of Workforce Development's partners will provide services to help workers find new positions. The Workforce Development Board of South Central Wisconsin in Madison says they're in the beginning stages of working with affected employees. They were unavailable for further comment, but WESC Corporation is also laying off 36 employees from its Green Bay branch as well.
Madeline O'Neill here in the studio. Thanks, Maddie.
A gas leak in Stoughton briefly prompted the evacuation of several homes in the area this morning. A contractor hit a 3-inch gas line at 217 Henry Street about 9:45. Multiple callers in the area of Vernon and Henry Streets reported smelling gas. 9 and 15 homes were evacuated and electricity was shut down several blocks in each direction from the gas line rupture. Alliant Energy was able to control the leak and people were allowed to return to their homes just before 11 o'clock. The Stoughton Fire Department and the Dane County deputies are investigating.
A statewide awareness campaign is aiming to promote healthy, nonviolent relationships. An interactive website called Dare to Know was launched last week. Along with the website, there is a campaign featuring videos, radio, and digital ads that will appear across the state. The purpose of the campaign is to inform and inspire youth to rally together in positive ways to promote healthy relationships in their schools and communities.
Our whole mission is to end domestic abuse, and the only way to do that is to talk not just about violence and abuse, but to talk about healthy, positive relationships. And the only way to promote those effectively is to start working with young people as they're first thinking about relationships and the kinds of relationships they want as they grow into adulthood.
End Domestic Abuse Wisconsin says 1 in 5 teens experience dating violence in the state.
Well, it's just a week and a half until our state's primary election. News 3 is asking candidates where they stand on the issues that matter to you.
All 8 Democratic candidates for governor sat down with our Rose Schmidt, and she's here today with today's focus, which is gun violence and school safety. Rose.
That's right. Now, in the wake of the tragedy in Parkland, Florida, Governor Scott Walker created Wisconsin's Office of School Safety. He also created a $100 million grant program that allowed schools to apply for grants for things like hardening school borders and training for staff. We asked the Democrats trying to take on Walker in November how they would tackle school safety and gun violence. Here are answers from half of those 8 candidates.
Military weapons don't belong in civilian hands. I'm a strong proponent of the Second Amendment, so handguns, shotguns, and rifles, absolutely.
Whether you're a gun owner or you're not a gun owner, the idea of having universal background checks and some waiting periods involved and all those types of things that really can make a huge difference in the state.
We need to have reasonable, common sense gun safety reforms that in other states that have tried it have actually reduced gun violence by 43%. Things like universal background checks.
I think we can do that with proper background checks, with ensuring that people that have mental health issues aren't getting guns, that people that have restraining orders for domestic violence aren't getting guns.
Militarizing our schools, whether it's having armed guards in our schools, I just think it's the totally wrong approach when we know that other states have seen success with common sense gun safety reforms.
Establishing as a rule that we're going to make our schools these kind of armed fortresses just doesn't send the right message, and it isn't the kind of way to have a community that feels safe.
There are safety measures we can take in our public schools. For instance, single entry after the start of the day, somebody monitoring people, especially adults and older juveniles coming in.
I don't believe that having only dealing with the issue of hardening schools and making sure that they're physically safe. I think school districts can handle that well.
Governor Walker's plan for addressing school safety did not mention guns. He has said in the past that he is against arming teachers. Now on News 3 at 6, you'll hear from the other half of those Democratic candidates, and you can find all of their responses on our website, channel3000.com. And we want to tell people about our chat bot. It's really, really, really cool. We actually interviewed all these candidates, right? And we put together this interactive where people can actually simulate a conversation with all of these candidates.
Never heard of a chatbot.
That's on channel3000.com.
Yes.
It's a great way to learn more about the issues because time is running short.
And there's so many candidates.
That's right.
All right, Rose, we'll see you at 6.
We'll see you at 6. Thanks, Rose.
Well, Sun Prairie's first responders were honored at the CrossFit Games today. Today is Military First Responder Appreciation Day at the Games, and they welcomed all military personnel and first responders, but specifically recognized Sun Prairie Police and EMS. They are being recognized for their efforts to help the Sun Prairie community during and after the explosion that devastated part of downtown and killed Captain Corey Barr last month. Military members and first responders that attended today received free admission into the games.
If you're interested in catching some of the action from the CrossFit Games, you can see some of the events right here on News 3 tomorrow. CBS will have an hour of live coverage Saturday at noon and Sunday at 11 a.m. They'll also be re-airing a taped version of the event next month on September 2nd. You can find additional coverage on cable on the CBS Sports Network starting at 9 p.m. this week.
And at CBSSports.com online.
All the time, right.
Tomorrow, a survivor of the Parkland school shooting, Wisconsin's politicians, high school students, and other victims of gun violence will march from the Library Mall to the steps of the Capitol. They are pushing for legislation change ahead of the upcoming primary elections. Among those changes, a push for universal background checks, reinstituting the 48-hour waiting period for buying a gun, raising the age to buy a gun to 21, and campaign finance reform. Wisconsin area students say that with this new school year set to begin, they're worried their safety could be in jeopardy again.
A quote that stuck with me when I was planning this march was, if we're old enough to get shot, we're old enough to have an opinion on getting shot. And so I think it's really exciting that young people are getting involved, but also the older generations need to realize that, you know, politics should cross the generational divide and it should represent every single generation.
The Wisconsin chapter of the National Constitution Coalition of Patriotic Americans is organizing a rally of their own in support of gun rights next week. They say they hope people from all viewpoints give them a chance to hear their side.
If you want to protest us, I guess it is what it is. It's America, and that's what America's about. Speaking your mind, being independent, being free. But all we ask is that you give us a chance to put our message out and actually listen instead of just waiting for a chance to say your rebuttal.
The NCCPA rally is next Saturday from noon until 3. Tomorrow's march on the NRA starts at 4 o'clock. There's more to come on News 3 at 5. Up next, the 10-month investigation into the Las Vegas shooting has concluded. What officials are saying about their findings.
Plus an update on the man who is accused of killing a doctor who treated George H.W. Bush.
And on Wall Street, the Dow Industrials finished the week on a plus note, up 136 points. The NASDAQ and S&P 500 were up as well. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Las Vegas police are making public their final report on the shooting that killed 58 people and injured hundreds last year at a country music festival and was the deadliest mass shooting in modern U.S. history.
They say they still do not know the motive for October's Las Vegas mass shooting. A lone gunman killed 58 people when he opened fire from the 32nd floor of a hotel room, raining down bullets on a crowd of concertgoers. Police say the attack was indeed a terrorist act, but they don't know what drove the gunman to carry out the massacre.
What we have been able to answer are the questions of who, what, when, where, and how. What we have not been able to definitively answer is the why Stephen Paddock committed this act.
After more than 10 months, police say they are closing the investigation. They say there is no evidence of a conspiracy or any additional gunmen.
Houston's police chief says a man accused of killing one of former President George H.W. Bush's doctors has killed himself. Police allege Joseph Pappas shot Dr. Mark Houseconnect on July 20th when the cardiologist rode his bike to work at Houston Methodist Hospital. Police say Pappas might have been seeking revenge for his mother, who died on the doctor's operating table more than 20 years ago.
A former worker for an immigrant shelter in Arizona is charged with 11 sex offenses after he was accused of molesting 8 unaccompanied boys in his care. Levian Pacheco, who is HIV positive, was indicted for engaging in sex acts with at least 8 boys between August of 2016 and July of 2017 in Mesa, Arizona. All of the children were between 15 and 17 years old.
It's very common for victims of abuse to not come forward, to be afraid to come forward. And especially in this population, there is this fear that if you come forward and report abuse, it might affect your immigration case.
The Department of Health and Human Services says they have removed all kids from that shelter and that any allegation of abuse or neglect is taken seriously and appropriate action is taken.
The prosecution of former Trump campaign chair Paul Manafort is moving even faster than expected. Over the past few days, prosecutors questioned vendors who sold items or services to Mr. Manafort and his wife, including millions of dollars on home electronics and landscaping, as well as hundreds of thousands of dollars of expensive clothing. The prosecution is trying to show how Manafort earned tens of millions of dollars from his lobbying work in the Ukraine, but that money was allegedly deposited into offshore accounts and then laundered through purchases of luxury goods, all in an effort to avoid paying taxes. Manafort's former business partner and former deputy Trump campaign chair, Richard Gates, expected to testify next week.
Let's get a check on the weekend weather now. Gary Canalti is out on the patio and some warm weather is on the way. Hi, Gary.
Hi, it's starting to get warmer and eventually it'll also get more humid as well. In fact, the humidity is not too far off. Let's start out by taking a look at alert day we have in the forecast for tomorrow. For high temperatures up around 90 degrees, you factor in the higher humidity and the heat index values are going to be between about 93 and 98 degrees. So that's what it'll feel like, and that's what you have to prepare for. Visible cloud track, we've had a little batch of clouds move through. There are some showers and thunderstorms to our north and to our west, but right now it looks like the bulk of those will stay up to our north. So I'm looking at a dry forecast for tonight, tomorrow. Just a slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm tomorrow night, and then a better chance later in the day on Sunday. Severe weather outlook actually has a marginal risk of severe thunderstorms into west central Wisconsin. Tomorrow, again, that severe weather risk, the marginal risk stays to our north and west. But on Sunday, as that cold front starts to approach, especially late in the afternoon into Sunday evening, there's a possibility we could see an isolated strong to severe thunderstorm with gusty winds and hail being the main threats. Time lapse from the Queen Bee Radio Skycam at Platteville from early this morning shows intervals of clouds and intervals of almost completely clear skies. You can see how those clouds kind of came back in this afternoon, but the live view from the Queen Bee Radio Skycam right now shows that skies are starting to clear out a little bit. We're seeing a little bit more sunshine. The WISC Skycam looking off toward the southwest shows mostly sunny skies here. And as we check out the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison, you can see the sun shining off the southern end of Lake Mendota. As we check out our almanac for today, the high temperature topped out at 79 so far, low temperature at 59. And our current conditions show a temperature here in Madison at, well, let's see if we get to that to go. Here we go. 79 degrees. Winds out of the south-southwest at 7 miles per hour. Dew point temperature starting to creep up. It's at 62, but dew points are in the 70s from about the Mississippi River westward. Low temperatures this morning were pretty cool in northern Wisconsin, mainly in the mid to upper 40s. Here in southern Wisconsin, cloud cover and some fog kept temperatures in the mid to upper 50s. Current temperatures range from the 60s up in northern Wisconsin, only 61 in Superior, to the 90s across portions of Iowa. Des Moines right now in the middle 90s. So the heat not very far away, and these showers and thunderstorms occurring on the northern edge of the heat as the jet stream starts to push back northward. And with time, we'll see that heat expand as a warm front moves through Wisconsin and puts us in the hot and humid air for a couple of days. Current temperatures in the triple digits in Bismarck, North Dakota, and generally in the upper 80s to lower 90s elsewhere. You can see just to our south and west, dew point temperatures in the 70s already as far north as the Twin Cities. So our forecast for tonight calls for partly cloudy skies, a milder night, low temperature dropping to 66. For tomorrow, partly sunny, breezy, hot and more humid, high 90. Again, the heat index from 93 to 98. On future track, look for low temperatures to drop only into the middle 60s overnight, partly cloudy skies. Tomorrow will be partly sunny, breezy, hot and humid, high temperatures around 90. Now, there's a slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm tomorrow night. Otherwise, it'll be just muggy, with low temperatures around 70. And Sunday, we're back into the upper 80s with a chance of a shower or thunderstorm, mainly late in the afternoon. Better chances arrive on Sunday night. In fact, as we take a look at the 7 to 10 day forecast, we'll see shower and thunderstorm chances on Monday with highs in the low 80s. Just a slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm Tuesday. Wednesday now looks like it'll be dry, a chance of a shower or thunderstorm Thursday. Notice those high temperatures, lower 80s through the end of next weekend, then temperatures a little bit warmer as we head into the following week. As we check out first alert traffic, well, we've got some delays on the Beltline, especially in the eastbound direction. Here's the live view from the DOT camera at John Nolan Drive and the Beltline. Traffic moving slowly in the eastbound direction. Some delays starting around Monona Drive and going back off and on through about Park Street. Westbound, some delays between Fish Hatchery Road and Park Street. Travel times right now on the Beltline, 16 minutes in either direction between University Avenue and I-3990. Heading out of Madison, about a half-hour commute from the Beltline to Janesville on I-3990, and 17 minutes out to Sauk City on Highway 12, and 17 minutes out to Sun Prairie on US 151. That's your first alert traffic.
Not bad for a Friday afternoon.
No, I think people were getting out of town early.
Yeah, beat the heat, apparently. All right, Gary, thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Gary. Still to come tonight at 5 for cancer patients. Getting to medical appointments can be a matter of life and death. We'll tell you how the American Cancer Society is making sure patients always have a ride when we come back.
News.
Well, for many cancer patients, getting to medical appointments could be a matter of life and death.
It's why the American Cancer Society runs a program providing free rides for patients. And as Chris Martinez tells us, the program is now getting an extra lift.
Thank you. So we're going to walk to my car over there.
Twice a week, Albert Nanez travels about a half hour from home for his cancer treatments. He was diagnosed with multiple myeloma 2 years ago.
Multiple myeloma is a cancer of the blood inside the bone marrow of your bones.
Albert is unable to drive himself, so he relies on others to make sure he never misses a treatment. So he turned to the American Cancer Society's Road to Recovery, a program that pairs patients with volunteer drivers.
There are cancer patients needing rides every day.
Ryan Okita says the numbers show how vital that need is. Last year alone, Road to Recovery provided 340,000 rides nationwide for around 20,000 cancer patients to or from treatment, thanks to about 10,000 volunteer drivers.
Family members and friends aren't always available, so our Road to Recovery program really helps these cancer patients to get to treatment when there's no other way to get there.
Now the program is getting a boost thanks to Lyft. The ride-sharing company is providing rides for patients in 9 cities and New Jersey, with plans to expand. The American Cancer Society pays for the ride. Albert says without the help,
So I would have missed a lot of appointments.
one less worry as he continues his fight. Chris Martinez, CBS News, Burbank, California.
Great idea.
Final check of the weather when we come back.
Get ready for 90s again.
Yeah, for tomorrow, maybe close to it on Sunday. Now, right now, it's pretty comfortable, around 80 here in Madison. Notice it is a little warmer out to the west. Look at the dew point temperatures, 62 in Madison, but temperatures right now in the the dew point temperatures in the lower 70s over Iowa. So as we take a look at the 7 to 10 day forecast, up around 90 for tomorrow with an alert day, 88 on Sunday, some thunderstorms late afternoon or Sunday night into Monday, and then temperatures back into the lower 80s for much of next week.
Dog days of summer.
Yes. All right. Thank you, Gary. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great weekend. See you back here for News 3 at 6.